That was good. That was a good note. Have a listen to that again.
Sound check.
G'day and welcome back to another vocal analysis here at Voice Essentials. Today we are going to be once again looking at SB19, the Filipino boy band group, P-pop. Do we have any other labels for them other than they're fabulous? And I know many of you will agree because many of you are super fans and you watch every single thing there is to do with them. This is the performance of, and I want to get the pronunciation of this right, Liham. Is that even close? Liham. This is the Wish USA bus performance, and I think it's a Wish USA bus. I think that's what they call it. Regardless, it's a single take live performance. Wish bus is always, quite heavily, edited in post. But that aside, I think we're going to enjoy it and appreciate. These young men, really do work together beautifully. You can see there is a sense of cohesion, a sense of synergy with these gentlemen, and it makes for great, not just great viewing, but great listening. And I've shared this before. I'm not really into boy bands, but I am enjoying watching these fellows. Here we go.
Wish.
Ang aking mundo ay payapa
1075.
sa di malamang dahilan. At noon ay buo kong inakala lahat ay ayos na naman. Nang bigla na lang ay dumating ang di hinantay, nagbabalat kayong himala. Mga pasan ay gumaan, ikaw ang tanging dahilan. Sa'yo lang napuno ng kasiguraduhan. Narito ako, tapat lang at totoo. Pinapangako sa iyo. Ito ang aking liham sa pag-ibig ko. Di hahayaan na mag-isa ka sa kahit na ano. Ikaw lang ang himpilan ng aking puso. Sa piling mo'y panatag ang buong pagkatao. Ligaya ng aking mundo.
Let's talk about what we've just watched. There's some really interesting acoustic things going on. I think it's in part because they're using 3 handheld performance mics alongside 2 broadcast quality recording mics. And so we get a different sort of acoustic value between the voices. The other interesting thing about that is the vocals onto the handheld mics, which are really they're just supercardioids. They're a dynamic mic, a Shure Beta 58. We're kind of picking up some room. Like you can hear, certainly in my ears, I'm hearing a bit of room acoustic, which is of interest to me because it suggests, though I don't know, the intricacies of how this was edited in post, but it suggests to me that there is a less of a heavy hand in the post-edit engineering. And so I like that because it gives us, I don't think this is fully raw, but a rawer is that even a word? Raw sound, and less polished, less produced, and I like that. Let's take it right back. I wanted to let it play through so we heard all 5 voices, but now that we've done that, let's just take it back to where the lads come in, and have a listen to each of the sound. There's some comments I think we can make. Again, remember, we are a Learn to Sing channel here, so we're going to make some comments and add some insights into what the lads are doing vocally from a vocal skill point of view.
Wish.
Ang aking mundo ay payapa
1075.
sa di malamang dahilan. At noon ay buo kong inakala lahat ay ayos na naman.
I have said before, and those of you who have watched my previous review videos of SB19, I do have a preference for Pablo's voice, the gentleman that we've just watched. There's something in his tone, and we all gravitate towards certain tones. We all have preferences. I don't want it to become a prejudice against the others because I've got no reason to do that. But I really love the clarity that, and let's recognize it may well be that this particular part and section of the song just really sits in what we refer to as his prima voce, his prime voice, that sweet spot in a voice where singers can feel really, really comfortable in their voice. And so that's of interest.
Nang bigla na lang ay dumating ang di hinantay, nagbabalat kayong himala.
This is where I do hear a movement away from the fullness of tone. It gives us contrast, and so aesthetically it works. But I do want to point out that we're not seeing a lot of action through the vocal tract here. And so as a result, we're getting a very narrowed sort of, I think, you can leave your comments below, let me know what you think, a less than developed tone than we possibly could if there was a little bit more activity through the vocal tract, a little bit more shape. It sounds to me like the sound wants to get a little bit caught, towards the back a little bit.
Mga pasan ay gumaan, ikaw ang tanging dahilan, sa'yo lang napuno ng kasiguraduhan.
It's on that previous mic. Have a listen to that. I'm really hearing the room, like the space of the cabin that they're in that microphone. It's yeah, and can I also suggest too that because it's a dynamic mic, it's less responsive. I wonder whether we'd hear even more room if the handhelds were condensers. And it suggests to me it was a wise decision to put the handhelds on as dynamics so that you don't get so much live room ambience.
Ikaw ang tanging dahilan, sa'yo lang napuno ng kasiguraduhan. Narito ako, tapat lang at totoo, pinapangako.
Watch Pablo behind him singing along. I love that. That suggests to us this idea that they're all in it, And then I've made this comment before. What I love about this group is that they're all invested in the lyric, and I think this is perhaps what draws me to them a little bit more than I would a normal boy band, which as I said, I'm not really into boy bands, but I just love that some of this repertoire, there's a greater sense of connection to the lyric. The lyric is a little bit more than candy pop. There's some depth, and I do like that.
Narito ako, tapat lang at
Pablo singing behind him.
pinapangako sa iyo.
Ooh, just under the note, I think, because we've got a little bit too much strain. You can see the neck just starting to strain up a little bit, and as a result, we don't quite get up onto the note. But that again suggests to us that this hasn't been heavily doctored after the fact, which I love. I really do.
Pinapangako sa iyo.
It's just under, like by sense.
Ito ang aking liham sa pag-ibig ko. Di hayaan na mag-isa ka sa kahit na ano. Ikaw lang ang himpilan ng aking puso. Sa piling mo'y panatag ang buong
Oh, I love the articulation through there. Have a listen to that. It's got real clarity to it. I'm fairly certain this is being sung in Filipino. And so that clarity, that crispness that we hear in that language is really, really well done there, and it doesn't catch. And so you've got this lovely flow of air, and even though we're getting that nice crisp articulation, it's not catching on the voice. He's still got really good flow.
Ikaw lang ang himpilan ng aking puso. Sa piling mo'y panatag ang buong pagkatao. Ligaya ng aking mundo. Okay, rami ng mga bagay na hindi natin maintindi.
Ooh, I love some of that lower work. You know, we spend so much time appreciating high vocals, don't we? Because they sound fantastic. But gee, it showcases some skill when a singer can travel low and maintain clear tone down into lower notes. Because voices, when we go low, the voice can want to collapse. It can want to kind of break up, and we sort of lose it. But here we don't hear that. We hear the tone really clearly.
Ng mga bagay na hindi natin maintindihan. Sa kabila ng lahat ay pilit nating binabalikan ang mga panaginip na
Oh, gee, I love the clarity of that note at the top. It's very much almost a rave note, but it just sat there so beautifully and clearly.
nating binabalikan.
Here it is.
Mga
Boa, boa. Great.
panaginip na inaasam. Ako'y binuo ng mabutit masamang karanasan. Puno man ng mansay, tinuring karangyaan.
We do see the challenge there of sitting while you sing. Notice how to take the breath, you'll see his shoulders do this. And that is a challenge because we prefer to see a much lower intake, well, the evidence of air much lower down in the abdominal wall. Whereas when we do that, we're actually restricting the descent of the diaphragm, actually collapsing the rib cage, and it doesn't, allow for good inflow. We talk in contemporary vocal technique, we talk about the quality of breath. It's not just about the quantity. In fact, it's rarely about the quantity. It's more often about the quality of air and how we both intake and allow the outflow to happen. Watch his shoulders.
Na inaasam.
Who was that? Who was that? I was too busy thinking about, I am concerned about the rasp in some of this vocal. Have a listen to the rasp, and then we hear a growl. We'll talk about the growl in a second. Listen to the rasp. Just every other vocal in this performance has some clarity in the tone. Raspiness certainly can be added aesthetically by choice. It can. And that's what I hope is happening here, because if it's not being added by choice, then it speaks to some challenges for the voice on a health level.
Butit masamang karanasan, puno man ng mansay, tinuring karangyaan. Nagkinanggan na lang, pagmamahal mo ay wala. Anumang pag-abang narito ako, magpapagal para sa'yo. Handang isuko ang buo.
Oh. You tell me, I'll play it again. You tell me in the comments section, who do you think gives us the growl? It's a nice little effect. It just gives a little bit of texture. There's only one vocal doing it, just gives a little bit of texture, and it's good.
Magpapagal para sa'yo, handang isuko ang buo.
Comments below.
Ito ang aking liham sa pag-ibig ko. Di hahayaan na mag-isa ka sa kahit na ano. Ikaw lang ang himpilan ng aking puso. Sa piling mo'y panatag ang buong pagkatao.
For some of you who have not done a lot of singing or recording, you might wonder, why are we seeing, I'll see if I can bring it up here. Why are we seeing him with one can off, and we refer to these as cans in the biz. Why has he got one on and one off? Well, it's exactly the way I prefer to track. Again, tracking is what we, when we're recording, in this instance, the vocals. And the reason I prefer it, not every singer does, but I prefer it because I like to, first I've got to be able to hear the track that I'm singing to, okay? But I like to hear a little bit of reverb in my voice, which is being added, through the sound system that I'm hearing through the can. But I also like to hear the acoustic value of my voice. I find it helps me to pitch a little bit better, so a bit better accuracy of pitch. But it also helps me to really manage my tone, and that's how I prefer to do it. Not everyone, and you'll see when we hit play again, not everyone prefers to track that way. Some people do prefer to have both cans in. You must have at least one on, otherwise you're not going to hear what you're singing to. But yeah, that's why we see the change up there. See, Pablo's got both on. Oh, big crowd. Got quite the instrumental, this piece. That's not an easy entry. Just have a listen to that again. He's got to come in. I'm going to listen to that again because that was surprisingly difficult.
Wish exclusive on Wish 107.5.
Ang buhay buhay ko'y matatawag bang mapa.
Yeah, his placement is a lot further back than I would if he were my student, and I know he never will be, but if he were, I'd be wanting to bring that placement up a bit more forward. I wouldn't want that to change his vocal signature in any way, but I would want to bring that sound up and off the vocal folds, because I think that is a labor-intensive way to produce the sound, and it might be the reason why we hear the rasp. There might be just a little bit of fatigue going on, a little bit of wear and tear. It's probably the first time I've noted it in his voice to have a. I don't want to oversell it or create any concern, but it's something I'll keep as I continue to listen to them. I'll keep note of it, and hopefully we don't hear it progress. See him pull his can back. He wanted better reference to what he was doing vocally. Watch what he does. Back on. I would have preferred during this section. I would have preferred to see the fellows connect a little bit better visually, and I think it would have, if I might be so bold, I think it would have tightened things up a little bit vocally in that little space. And it's because the voices are all getting big. The bigger the voices, the more given they are to being a little loose in the timing, loosey-goosey. And I think we get here a little bit of looseness, not in pitch, but in connection, in cohesion, just in this section. And I wonder whether that could have been remedied a great deal by them being a little bit more visually connected. These guys, and I've made this comment before, they do have a tremendous for me, they have a tremendous sense of connectivity between the five of them. But I wonder whether we could have enhanced that even further if they had been looking at it through this section. Just have a listen to, I wanted a bit more. Love that sound. That was good. That was a good note. Have a listen to that again. keeps going. Well done. Lovely line. I spoke over that little end. Let's listen to it again just so I don't mess it up for everyone. Hang on, let me find the right spot. Yeah. Great song. Another great song by SB19. You know, but a few points that we can identify there and how they're, you know, the things that they are doing, and you go, wow. And some of the things that are happening that you go, maybe there's room for polish. You know, I watch a lot of sport. What I find so impressive with professional athletes is they're always in pursuit of improvement. You know, how can I improve my game? How can I improve my discipline? And I don't think quality, you know, professional musicians are any different. I think a professional musician is always, and singers included, always in pursuit of better. How can I further enhance what I do? None of us ever arrive, including SB19. And so it's good for us to be able to identify things that we feel, hey, maybe that's an area that, you know, XYZ singer can develop in. And that's the whole point of these vocal analyses, not just to identify what they're doing great, but also to have insight into the areas that we can learn from. And so that's what we do. And as a result, I hope you'll subscribe if you haven't already, and join us every week here for the vocal analyses videos and the instructional videos and the live show we do every Monday. I very much look forward to seeing you in the next Voice Essentials video. I'm Dr. Dan. Sing well.